The most common question asked to me is, when is it time to change out an air conditioning system? The length of time it is in service is really the most important question. Anytime between 9 to 15 years is when you need to literally look at when it's time to change out an AC system. So if we use a scenario, if a unit's 9 years old and the compressor fails, what do we do? Or what do you have to consider? First option is simple, change the compressor. But there's many factors you have to take into consideration to do that. Overall condition of the unit, is it worth it? Time, labor, etc. First thought, it's the cheapest and it gets the resident up and running right away. Bigger picture, you only get 1 year on the compressor and it's intense labor. To change out a compressor in a condensing unit is very labor intensive for the maintenance supervisor. He's actually got to pull the compressor out, he's got to lean over into it to get it in. So it's costing that on top of everything else. That's the one thing that most managers don't think of, is the labor time it takes to do that. You also have to look at the cost of the refrigerant. You know, not only are you changing out the compressor, but you're adding 6 to 7 pounds of refrigerant to the system. On an average, that cost per pound is $45 to $50 on top of the labor charge. So you're getting the cost of the compressor, 3 to 4 hours, how much you pay per hour for your maintenance supervisor, and then on top of that, the cost of the refrigerant to put it in there. So that is, most cases, if a unit's 9 to 15 years old, that's really not the best case scenario. Second option is to replace the condenser and the coil, which I always feel is the best option in our market, because you can put a new coil in most systems, put them in, flush out the system, and then you virtually have a brand new system, a 410A system that matches up. You get the full warranty on the condensing unit and as well as the coil. Now the only factor you have to worry about when you do that is the condition of the air handler. Most of the time the air handler is in good condition, and besides the coil, the only part you have to worry about is the blower system. So in my mind, it's the most economical way to go, and you get the most life out of it. If you change out a compressor, you have to take in the fact of all of the parts that could go wrong with the pre-existing condition of the unit. If you change out the condensing unit, you get a 5-year warranty on that, in some cases 10 depending on the manufacturer, and you get a brand new coil. So you virtually have a brand new system. Plus your labor is almost half of what it would be to change out the entire system. You're looking at 3 to 4 hours if you change out the entire system, anywhere from 6 to 8 hours. And obviously the final option would be to change out the entire system. If you have the budget for it, it's probably the best way to go, because you get anywhere, depending on the manufacturer, 5 to 10 years on both systems, and you get 10 to 15 years. So that would be, if it works in your budget, that would be the best way to go. Of course, we realize everyone is budget conscious and we have to take that into consideration, but in this case, those are the 3 options I would recommend, but we obviously want you to look at every factor to make the best decision possible.